You know, there's a battle happening right now. It's not one you can see on the news. It's a quiet, unseen war. One that's fought inside you and with the people you let into your life. It's a fight for your energy, your clarity, and your power. And really understanding how it's being fought, that's the very first step to winning it.
The brilliant psychologist Carl Jung, well, he pretty much built his entire life's work around this one single powerful idea. He knew that the biggest conflicts we have aren't really with other people. They're with the parts of ourselves we just refuse to look at. This avoidance, right here, this is the true battleground. And this idea, it's the key to everything we're about to get into.
So let's just start there. Be honest with yourself for a second. What truth, what feeling, what difficult conversation are you running from? Because the answer to that question, it reveals exactly who you let into your life and why they seem to have so much power over you.
All right, let's dive into the first battlefield, your relationships. Jung was so clear about this. The most dangerous people in your life, they're not the ones who are going to attack you head-on. No, the real threat comes from the people hiding behind a mask of kindness, of support, or even spiritual wisdom.
And this is just so crucial to get. We're all trained to look for the obvious red flags, right? Anger, aggression, open conflict. But manipulation? It's subtle. It wears a friendly face. It tells you exactly what you want to hear, all while it's quietly chipping away at your confidence from the inside.
And Jung, man, he was a master at identifying these masks. So let's just touch on 3 of the most common ones. First, you've got the chronic victim. This is the person who makes their suffering your personal responsibility. Then there's the charming mirror. They feel like your soulmate, but it's only because they're showing you a perfect reflection of yourself. And maybe the trickiest of all, the spiritual narcissist. They use all the right therapy speak and enlightened language to make you feel like your reactions are the problem, not their behavior.
So you have to ask, why do we fall for these masks? Why do we put up with people who just drain us? Well, Jung's answer is, it's profound and it's a little uncomfortable. See, it's not really about them. It's about a part of you that Jung called the shadow.
This gets to the absolute core of it. You're not being punished, you're being mirrored. These difficult people you attract into your life, they aren't some random cosmic punishment. They're a mirror. They are literally reflecting the parts of yourself that you haven't owned yet. They show up to teach you something about you.
So what are these parts? Jung called this the shadow. And look, it's not evil, not at all. It's all the powerful, essential pieces of you that you were taught to bury as a kid. Your righteous anger, your gut feelings, your power to just say no. You pushed them all down so you could be seen as good, but in doing that, you completely disarmed yourself.
And this right here, this is where it all connects. When you repress your own shadow, your own protective instincts, you basically create a vacuum. You disown your anger so you can't even recognize when someone is crossing your boundaries. You silence your intuition, so you talk yourself out of that weird, off feeling you get. This is how the mask gets in.
Okay, so this brings us to another heavy hitter, the philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche. He took this idea even further. He argued that what we often call goodness, being agreeable, avoiding conflict, just keeping the peace, is actually a form of weakness that costs us our very soul.
For Nietzsche, weakness wasn't about being emotional or sensitive. Not at all. It's the daily, quiet act of betraying your own truth just so you can be accepted. It's that moment you know what's right, but you stay silent. The moment you want to say no, but you say yes. Every single one of those small betrayals just erodes your power.
And this table just makes the difference so incredibly clear. On one side, you have weakness, choosing peace over your own truth, needing other people to tell you you're okay, apologizing for having needs. And on the other side, strength. Having command of your emotions, deciding your own purpose, and owning your truth without feeling like you have to justify it. So which side of this table do you live on most of the time?
Okay, so we've diagnosed the problem, right? We understand the masks, we understand the shadow, but the crucial question is, how do we fix it? How do we actually move from that state of self-betrayal to one of wholeness and power? Well, the path forward really combines the wisdom of both Jung and Nietzsche.
So here are 4 direct, actionable steps you can take. First, audit your circle. Ask yourself, who consistently leaves me feeling drained or confused? Let them go. Second, let your shadow speak. Give yourself permission to feel your anger, to say, no, I'm not available for this.
Third, stop explaining your boundaries. The right people will never demand an explanation, and the wrong people will just argue with it anyway. And finally, trust your gut. That first feeling you got, it was almost always right.
And this is so important to understand. This journey is not about building walls or becoming some hardened, unfeeling person. It's about integration. It's about becoming whole by welcoming back all those protective, powerful parts of yourself that you were taught you had to abandon.
Nietzsche left us with this incredible metaphor for evolution. A snake that holds on to its old, tight, worn-out skin can't grow. It dies. We are exactly the same. To reclaim our power and become who we're meant to be, we have to be willing to shed the skin of our old selves, the people pleaser, the conflict avoider, the one who settles.
So I'll just leave you with that. Take a good look at your life, your habits, your relationships. What is the one skin, that one pattern of self-betrayal that you absolutely must shed in order to truly live? The answer to that, that's your first step back to power.